Hey guys, welcome to the DevDojo Journey. This is episode 13 and today is July 31st, 2022. So in each of these videos, I basically talk to you about building DevDojo and kind of my journey of building get to 10K MRR. So each week I'm fully transparent about all the numbers, updates, and everything else. So each video there are 3 segments which include the stats, the updates, and some questions. So let's go ahead and dive into the stats. Okay, so you can see in front of us we are at 62,799 users who have signed up for a DevDojo account. So that's up about 450, maybe about 500 from last week. Then we jump over to the active paying users and we are at 677. And I think that is a drop of maybe 7 or 8. Not a great week this week, unfortunately, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. So we're down a little bit as far as the active paying users. Then if we jump over to the 30-day month to date, we are at about $6,400 for a 30-day month to date. And that might be down like 150 or so, but still not doing too bad. Then let's jump over to the analytics, and each week we are getting 28,000 new users to the DevDojo. So this is great because we just get this traffic organically from all of the blog posts and the information on the DevDojo. So those are the stats for this week. Let's go ahead and jump into a few updates. Okay, so last week I shared that I have a roadmap set for the new version of Tails, which is the DevDojo Tailwind CSS page builder. So I'm scheduling to complete this by the end of August. And two of the things, or actually one of the main things that I had for this week was to be able to deploy your sites. So right here in front of us, we have the Tails interface. If I go up here to publish, I can actually click on edit publishing sources and I can publish via GitHub pages. You just provide a personal access key and then you add the GitHub repo and the branch. And also with S3, you can go ahead and enable that. You just put in your S3 key, your secret key, the region and the bucket, and then your site will automatically be deployed to S3 or GitHub. So that was pretty fun to build. It actually took me about a week. I had kind of started doing some implementation before that. So I would say it took me a little bit more than a week, but got to learn a lot more about the GitHub API and S3. I already know how to interact with S3 buckets and just AWS services in general. So that was pretty fun to do. One other thing that I knocked out this week was this kind of onboarding flow. So whenever somebody gets into Tails and right whenever they land on the homepage, they need a way to figure out what to do next. So I created this nice little tour so you can see it says, welcome to Tails, complete 5 steps to learn how to build awesome websites with the ultimate Tailwind CSS design tool. And actually designed this little character with this tour. And then I took a few graphics from iStock. There are a few like SVG graphics that I kind of just placed in here, like the trees and the sign. So basically you can say, no thanks, I don't want to take the tour, or you can say, yeah, let's go, let's learn a little bit about it. So it kind of gives you 5 steps as far as like adding designs. You click next, how to edit designs, how to get into your project settings, adding pages, and then how to preview and deploy. So then you can click next and you get these nice little confetti right there that pops up, and they can say that they want to restart or they can finish the tour. So then at any time you can always go over here to the resources and you can click on that tour button again and to bring this pop-up. So whenever they click on no thanks or they finish it, then that pop-up will no longer show the next time that they open up a page in the Tails editor. So that's pretty much it. That was it for this last week. Had a lot of fun, again, working with the GitHub API. I got to, brush off some of my artistic skills with that graphic for the tour pop-up. And yeah, just overall a good week as far as productivity. So how about we wrap up the video and we knock out a few questions from last week's video. Okay, so there were a few questions from Tim. Is basically saying that he's transitioning, I think, from WP to becoming a full stack dev, and announcement on Twitter for the HTML CSS game really excited him. Let me go ahead and bring that up actually. So I've been kind of working on like these, they're kind of called like training adventures, and I will show you the graphic that I posted. Here's the graphic right here. So it's kind of like this intro screen for an adventure called HTML and CSS Quest. And the idea behind it is it's just going to be an interactive way to learn HTML and CSS, and it's going to make it fun at the same time too. So right now the status on this is, I started digging into, I think it's Pixie.js, which is like a 2D game framework, but really haven't made too much progress on this. I think it's going to come after the release of Tails v2, and then I'm going to work on Wave a little bit after that. So I would expect probably some more progress near the end of this year as far as some of the training adventures. So there is one that I was also working on too, which is called the Tale of Tailwind CSS. I think I actually have this up live on a URL. So if you actually click on Start My Journey, it kind of starts with the intro screen. You're going to have this kind of like sensei guy that introduces you into the course. So this is another training adventure that I was planning on creating down the road. But yeah, let me get back to the questions. So he has a second question. He says that, what are my plans to simplify the journey of a total newbie, starting with coding, HTML, CSS, PHP, and Laravel, then to using the Tailwind CSS page builder? So I think that's actually going to be one of the approaches is a lot of the training content, like the HTML and CSS Quest course or adventure is going to be free. But then once you want to get into the, I'm calling it the JavaScript journey, that one you will have to upgrade to a pro account. And then I'm also going to teach about PHP and Laravel, and those are going to be paid for. So the user has to be paid in order to access those two. So I plan on having these whole like training adventures that will teach you all the basics of web development, including PHP and Laravel. And then you have access to the Tails page builder as well. So definitely have plans for that in the future. So then BT says, are there any example pages of the current version of Tails, and do you have examples coming for the new version? So I actually do have plans to, release like pages and even sites. You can kind of like go to Tails and you can say, I want to start a new project, and you can create it from a template, or you can just start off as a blank canvas. Right now you have to just start off as a blank canvas because we don't have any templates, readily made templates like available that includes like a homepage, about, contact. But we're definitely going to include that in some future versions of Tails. And then Owen says, loving the videos as always. Right on. Thanks, man. Could you delete the spam comments? Yes, I did. Getting some spam comments in these videos. He said he was wondering, am I going to do with SaaS Adventure? Because it is running on Laravel 9. SaaS Adventure is my course that teaches you how to build your own software as a service. So I actually have plans to turn this into one of those training adventures that I was talking about. So instead of you going through videos and learning how to create your own software as a service, later this year, I'm actually going to create kind of like an interactive course that's going to kind of teach you how to, create these main building blocks for your software as a service. So each of those is going to be broken apart into like a little training adventure that you have to follow these steps, and it's going to be fully interactive. It'll interact with your GitHub profile, so we'll actually like submit code to it, have some really cool ideas for it. So, I'll have to keep you posted with how that's going. But that is all for this week. I hope you guys have a great weekend and hope you have a great upcoming week. So I look forward to seeing you in next week's video.